Well, you need to start this by getting the lecture notes Onstar TV commercial document. Print that out. I have it here. I'm going to refer to it, and you need to have that with you. Look at this commercial. Take a look at it a few times, why don't you? I'm going to show it to you once, but you might want to rewind it and look at it a few times real quick. It's 30 seconds.
Miss Davis, this is Onstar. I've received a signal you've been in a crash. I'm contacting emergency services.
Onstar reporting a front-end crash on Wakefield Road.
Malibu, airbags deployed, injuries reported. Please respond.
Ma'am, help is on the way.
And I'll stay on the line with you till they get there.
Automatic crash response built into OnStar-equipped GM vehicles.
Well, read through the first page of the document lecture notes OnStar TV commercial. It's called Notes on Getting Started Analyzing a Television Commercial Using an OnStar TV Commercial as an Example. Read through the first page and then turn it back on. So you've turned it back on and you're looking under Emotional Strategies, Appeal to Fear, number 1. Number 2 is the use of suggestive images. I think that's an overall strategy, and there are some examples here. For instance, 2A, winding road. The winding road effect of that is fearfulness if you're driving, especially at night in the woods. The whole commercial is dark, creating a foreboding effect, fearful effect. 2C, bent over tree at crash site makes the crash seem worse than it was. These are all under emotional appeals. Crash worse than it was. The car just happens to hit an already bent over tree. Well, let's look at that scene. So yeah, why the bent tree? Why not have the car hit an upright tree? Why was the tree already bent? And why do they dwell on this image here of the crash, of the car hitting the tree, and then with the taillights, and I'm talking about the taillights here, the image of the taillights, 2E, the camera dwells on this image before cutting away. Why? The lights in the vast dark emphasize how alone the person is. There are hints of emergency vehicle in this image as well. The red lights hint about the red lights of an emergency vehicle which will arrive eventually. But they want to kind of suggest that the emergency vehicle is in some ways already there with those red lights. Of course, it's not, but there's a little bit of a suggestion in how they in dwelling on that. And when I mean dwell on the image, it lasts quite a long time compared to many of the images in the film, in the commercial. The camera just sits there on those two, the brake lights or the tail lights of the car. Well, I want to look at the deer part, the deer scene. So read through on this on the printout parts 2D and 2H on the printout concerning the deer. Why multiple deer? Why not just have the one deer? Is there a deer family there, possibly at risk on the road? So let me slow this scene down and show this to you right here. Well, you can see there's a lot of deer action happening in this. If you slow it down, you can see that there's not just the one, but why three? Maybe just to emphasize the danger of deer all over the place in this area. I want to look at part 2I also, where it says, what's that in the background in the deer in the headlight frame? Again, if you slow these commercials down, you can see some details that you wouldn't be able to see. And just ask yourself, why is it there? Why did they do that? Why did they put it that way? Why did they shape this commercial the way they shaped it? Well, you can go back and look at that. Go back and freeze it on that deer in the when it brightens up and the headlights hit the deer. And what is that thing in the field behind the deer? Why is it there? Upright thing, small little item, but you could make something of that. Maybe, maybe not. Depends. I also want to look at what is it? 2G, part 2G, the image of the woman when she gets up and looks out the window, the OnStar worker. It's an emotional movement, gesture of worry. She's worried about this crash victim, and I also talk about it a little bit in part 2G. You can check that out, and let's look at that. Well, it's wonderful editing there when she gets up and looks out the window, and out of concern, it seems, and the next thing you see is the crash scene again, which is probably very far away, but it feels as if the woman is so close, OnStar is that close, that she can just look out the window and that they have offices everywhere. Every in the woods and so on.
Miss Davis, this is OnStar. I've received a signal you've been in a crash. I'm contacting emergency services.
Onstar reporting a front-end crash on Wakefield Road.
Chevy Malibu, airbags deployed, injuries reported. Please respond.
Ma'am, help is on the way. And I'll stay on the line with you till they get there.
Automatic crash response built into OnStar-equipped GM vehicles.
Well, I just wanted to point out a few little things here and there in this document. You should read through the 3-page document. That's the key thing. Look at the commercial as you're reading through, and that's it. I'll show you the commercial a couple more times here.
Miss Davis, this is OnStar. I've received a signal you've been in a crash. I'm contacting emergency services.
Onstar reporting a front-end crash on Wakefield Road.
Chevy Malibu, airbags deployed, injuries reported. Please respond.
Ma'am, help is on the way. And I'll stay on the line with you till they get there.
Automatic crash response built into OnStar-equipped GM vehicles.
Miss Davis, this is OnStar. I've received a signal you've been in a crash. I'm contacting emergency services.
Onstar reporting a front-end crash on Wakefield Road.
Chevy Malibu, airbags deployed, injuries reported. Please respond.
Ma'am, help is on the way. And I'll stay on the line with you till they get there.
Automatic crash response built into OnStar-equipped GM vehicles.
Miss Davis, this is OnStar. I've received a signal you've been in a crash. I'm contacting emergency services.
Onstar reporting a front-end crash on Wakefield Road.
Chevy Malibu, airbags deployed, injuries reported. Please respond.
Ma'am, help is on the way. And I'll stay on the line with you till they get there.
Automatic crash response built into OnStar-equipped GM vehicles.